Good afternoon. Welcome to the beautiful Caribbean island of Antigua. This is going to be an interesting one. Every once in a while, you got to do something just completely mental, and that's what I'm going to do today. First of all, let's go. Battery and generator on. Let's go. Ignition on auto. Boost pump on auto. Fuel pump. Fuel selectors rather on auto. Let's go to autopilot on. Let's kick the oxygen on just so we don't forget it. Alright. So, one real minor. Well, let's get the engine started first. Let's hit the starter here. Come over here and watch the NG coming up. Once the NG gets to 14, we're going to come into low idle. This airplane is easier to start than a 150 almost. It's just, it's so simple. Watch the NG once we get to 58. I'm going to come up to high idle. Alright, now we're watching the ITT for a hot start. And we're watching for a hung start. Oil pressure and oil temperature both good. NG is going to come up to about 78. 77 is fine. Prop RPM is coming up. ITT should get to about 680. That should get to about 700 and then drop back. Alright, looks like we're good to go. Again, oil pressure and oil temperature both good. Alright, one thing I forgot to... I got kind of lazy with... so let's go 122.8. Transfer that. I got kind of lazy with my flight planning in Microsoft Flight Simulator. In the planning page, the world map page, I just got lazy. And so I don't have a fuel flight plan, but you are going to see from here what my flight plan is. And you might say, what's so mental about flying to St. Barts? But I will tell you this. My plan is to go up to St. Barts and fly the runway 28 approach. That's the opposite approach you usually see into St. Barts. Let's go nav and strobe lights on. Let's go taxi light on. Looks a little dark out there, so I'm going to turn the panel lights on just to make sure we can see everything. Alright, ignition, starter is off, ignition's on auto, everything is looking good. Bleed is on auto, even though we're not going to need it, I don't think. I mean, I'm planning on going to about 4,500 for this VFR flight. I apologize to this gentleman on the left because I will be decapitating him shortly. Alright, engage the brakes, parking brake off. Let's go down to taxiway Alpha. I'm very sorry, sir. I would like you to get home to your family today, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. just like literally just bludgeoning this man. VC Bird traffic, TBM 9030 Mike Romeo is taxiing to runway 07 via taxiway Alpha. VC Bird. told, I informed Microsoft Flight Simulator a while ago via their forums that the one thing that really doesn't make sense is to always have the planes parked nose in, because they have the planes parked nose in everywhere. Makes perfect sense for an Airbus or a Boeing or a CRJ or whatnot. It makes zero sense for GA propeller aircraft of any kind, because nobody comes along to push us out. It's our responsibility to do it ourselves, and nobody parks nose in, because if you park nose in, then you have to physically move, manipulate your airplane, turn it around, and it's irritating. I mean, just nobody parks nose in. It just doesn't happen. Everybody parks. Everybody parks facing out, unless it's just not possible to do. So we're going westbound VFR, so we'll go 4,500 feet. I'm gonna hit nav mode on the autopilot. I'll put down a notch of takeoff flaps and bring the throttle to idle here as we come to a stop. Holding short of the runway. I don't see any traffic on the iPad. I don't see any traffic at all, which makes me wonder, is the iPad actually showing me traffic?
Approaching runway 0725.
I mean, I literally see no traffic anywhere on the iPad. So this leads me to believe that the iPad is not showing me traffic. But be that as it may, alright, we got one notch of flaps down. Let's turn the taxi light off, the landing light on. I don't want the pulse light on because that's just going to blind me. I do want an altimeter setting. That would be good. 1014 or 2994. Okay. So, and we also want the active nav on flight management system. So I think I'm pretty much set. I don't see any traffic. We got plenty of runway here. One thing I haven't been doing is a pre-takeoff briefing. So if we get you have any power problems on the runway, I'm going to bring the power to idle and come to a stop using the brakes. If we have any power problems once we're airborne, let me have a quick look at the winds, because that's going to determine. Okay, winds are 076 at 12 at 3,000 feet. That's basically straight into me. So what I would do is, if we have any power problems under 1,000 feet, I'm going to make a left-hand turn, just because that's going to give me a better visual view of the runway, of the airport environment. I'm going to find any hard surface I can to land on. Below 1,000 feet, we're probably swimming. I'm going to turn left and see if I can find anything to land on, a beach, put it down near the water, something like that. And that's my pre-takeoff briefing. If I don't have 60 knots by taxiway Charlie, which is 2 taxiways down, I'm going to definitely be aborting. So, that's at least something that I've got in my head that I can use. Alright, on course heading is 324. So, flaps are set. Let's take one more look at the traffic. Again, I don't see anything. And we're ready to go. Make sure we're broadcasting on 122.8, and we are. VC Bird traffic, TBM 930 Mike Romeo taking off runway 07 from taxiway Alpha, VC Bird. And you can see I forgot to change my registration number for this from the last time I flew the Cessna. I don't know why, but
approaching runway 0725. Entered runway 0725.
When you change airplanes in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it does not change the registration for you, which is just kind of silly. Alright, heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. Airspeed is alive, all three. 70 knots, cross-checked. 80, 90, and rotate. Alright, positive rate on the radar altimeter. Gears coming up. There's VC Bird Airport. 115 knots. The flaps are coming up. And we'll have to pull up a little bit on the... Pull back a little bit in the yoke and trim a little bit. Let's make a quick left-hand turn so we don't annoy these people on this beautiful island right off the end of the runway. VC Bird traffic, Cessna, TBM 930 Mike Romeo, left crosswind departure off runway 7, climbing to 1,000 feet. We are northbound, VC Bird. So, looks like we're going to get some instrument meteorological conditions here. We might actually wind up in we might wind up with our second unanticipated, unplanned.
Climbing through transition altitude.
Why is the ITT cracked? That makes me a little nervous. Inertial separator, perhaps? I mean, my power was okay. Let's go autopilot and flight level change. Flight level change. Flight level change. Okay. Oh, I see, because we're already at altitude. Okay, I will freely admit that I don't know this airplane extremely well. I certainly know, I know as much about, I'm gonna go with the 6500, get out of the clouds here. I know as much about particle physics as I do about turbine engines, which is to say nothing. So I may very well have just done that myself. Most anything that I do wrong in these videos is due to nothing other than a sheer lack of competence. Alright, should not be a real long flight. About 20 minutes. Now, we should discuss the wisdom of what I'm about to do. And we can discuss that by talking a little bit about the runway 28 approach. Leveling off at 6,500. Alright, so St. Barts doesn't have its own weather. So we're going by the Princess Juliana weather, which is from 12 minutes ago, and it says winds are 080 at 8 knots, 05 degrees, variable through 110 degrees, visibility greater than 6 miles, clouds, view 1700, broken 3500, temperature 28, dew point 18, altimeter 1015. So we're going to write that down. 1015 and or 299.7. So let's write that down. We're going to want to know that. Now, the reason I'm talking about the wisdom of what I'm going to do is that so my buddy John, who flies he flies cargo and passenger traffic down in the Caribbean. I am purposely being vague about who he flies for. Names will be changed to protect the innocent. And he says that you can make the runway 28 approach anytime the winds are less than 10 knots. And I guess I kind of gathered from talking to him that the runway 10 approach is for show, and the runway 28 approach is for dough. That's the one that they'll generally take if they can, just because it's easier, I guess, in some ways. There's Barbuda off there. But I will say to you, there's nothing. So I've done it once, the runway 28 approach. And there's St. Kitts over there. Done it once. And that was yesterday with my good friend Zarnell. And I did it in the Cessna 152, the mighty Cessna 152. And you may know the 152 is not a fast airplane. And we had winds of about a 10 knot tailwind. And let me tell you, landing runway 28 with that 10 knot tailwind in a Cessna 152, to be honest, I didn't make it to the. I sort of went off the end of the runway, going up the hill. Not too bad. I mean, I managed right at the last second to kind of steer off to the side onto the little parking space area there, but that was in a Cessna 152 that has 110 horsepower. This airplane has, I do believe, 900 horsepower. So the other thing, so that's what's working against me in this particular situation. What's working in my favor is the beta range for the prop, and that's like stomping on the brakes. So I think if I get this airplane on the ground, I think I have a decent shot at it. If I get it on the ground, like, relatively quickly. I need to get it on the ground, like, it can't be halfway up the runway. Now, the other thing is, which you may or may not know about St. Barts, is runway 28, there is no go around. Once you get to a particular spot, essentially once you turn final Runway 28. You have arrived. You and your airplane will be remaining at St. Barts, whether you make that runway or not. There's Stacia coming up there on the far north end there of this chain. So once you get to once you're on final, once you turn final in that little bay there, you're landing. That's just what's happening. Or you are contacting the ground in some fashion. So basically you're committed. I mean, once you turn final, you are committed. And this airplane costs, well, it cost me $80, but generally speaking, I think it costs, I don't know, 5 million, something like that. If I had 5 million bucks, I'd buy it. It's a great airplane. I'm about 4,999,000 short, but I'm trying, and I have faith. So there's really not much for me to do right now, except for because I know the approach, I know the physics of it. It's just a matter of, let's go vertical speed mode, and let's pull the power back here. Start descending at 1,500 feet a minute. Start pulling the power back. I'm gonna pull the power back and start bringing my speed down. Can you tell I'm not 100% confident in what I'm trying to do here today? 32 nautical miles out. I don't see any traffic. I wonder if there's like some radiation event that wiped the planet of humans, because there's no air traffic. I saw one airplane a little bit ago, but I would think at this time on a Friday. Alright, 299.7. I would think at this time on a Friday there's got to be
transition altitude, nearest altimeter 1014.
Some air traffic. Alright. Altimeters are set. So, we really want to go. Really want to be gear down, flaps down, and slowed down relatively early in this process. And have it. Alright, we are 20 miles from St. Barthélemy. I've never heard of St. Barthélemy, by the way. Nor have I heard of St. Kitts either. I don't know if these are local saints. I'm imagining they're Catholic saints. It's my guess. Tis my guess. And see the a little pause here. Yeah. See, this is showing me traffic. The MFD is showing me traffic, but my iPad is not showing me that traffic. Sort of makes me a little nervous. Alright, leveling off at 1500. I'm really not going to goof around here. We're going to get back into flap range, 180 knots. I'm going to put in the first notch of flaps. I'm going to disengage the autopilot here, which is always of concern to the airplane. I don't know if the airplane just doesn't have any confidence in me or what. I don't know if I'd blame it. Alright. It's just irritating seeing this AP thing here. Link. Alright, we're 15 miles. That's right, let's put in a couple clicks of left aileron trim. St. Bart's traffic, TBM 9030 Mike Romeo is 10 miles to the southeast, inbound runway 28 St. Bart's. Alright, so bring the power back a little bit more. I like using the trim wheel rather than the trim controls on the yoke. I don't quite know why, I just do.
Grand K traffic, November 755 Bravo is turning left downwind runway 12 at 1,600. Grand K traffic.
And don't really see any traffic. That seems particularly relevant yet. Alright, gear's coming down. Bringing the gear down just because I want something to help me slow the airplane down. That's going to give me what's called Parasite Drag. Parasite Drag is anything that sticks out into the wind and causes wind resistance, I guess. I started out rather authoritatively on that statement, then I kind of faded at the end. suppose I don't mind. One thing I wish is that this number here were a little brighter, so you could really see it a little bit. I want to hold the nose up here and get into flap range. What am I at? About 28.
Bracket traffic number 7553 Bravo is turning base, runway 12, 1,000 feet, 100.
Alright, full flaps. Let's not do that. Alright. And clearly I'm set up, you know, pretty early, but that's really what I want in this particular situation. I wish that stupid red flashing light, the autopilot, would stop. I really do. It's not going to, clearly. It's distracting. Alright, 87 knots. What are we at here? Not doing too bad. There's Saba off there in the distance. If this goes drastically wrong, we're just gonna nail the power and get out of here. I really don't know how this is gonna work. I'm being truthful. Like, you may think, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. He's got this made. I really, really don't know how well this is gonna go. Alright. Try to level off here a little bit, add some power. So we're at coming up on 800 feet here, which is reasonably low. I'll add one notch or one click of right aileron trim here. I think I got just a little bit too much in. St. Barts traffic, TBM 9030 Mike Romeo, going to be entering a right base for runway 28, St. Barts. And anybody who's listening to this radio call is going to be going, he's doing what? There's a nice big pause, which I really don't need right now, please. One thing I don't need right now is to not know what's happening for about 10 seconds. I would imagine he's got to be a distance away because I can't really hear him very well. So I don't think that was a St. Barts call. Alright. Here we go, folks. Alright. Don't see any traffic. Which is good. Let's start bringing some power out. Nose up a little bit, get rid of some speed.
500.
St. Barts traffic, Cessna, TBM 9030 Mike Romeo is final for runway 28 St. Barts. I powered at 23. Okay. I really got to keep an eye on that vertical speed right now. That is too much. Hug the left here, give myself an angle. And let's make the turn in because there's not much room. And power is starting to come out. Power is all the way out. Can't really see too well. There's Beta. And there we go. Okay. That was nerve-wracking. And I will tell you in perfect honesty, that was a way better result than it deserved. Way better result than it deserved. That was the aviation equivalent of holding on for dear life is what that was. St. Barts traffic, TBM 9030 Mike Romeo is clear of the runway, St. Barts. That was the aviation equivalent of holding on for dear life. And I mean, what I mean by that is I wasn't real close on, hold on, let's go. Idle cutoff with the parking brake on. Let's turn the bleed off. Turn our lights off. Oxygen can come off. Autopilot can come off. Yeah, off. That's that way, exactly. Fuel selector manual. Boost pump off. Ignition off. Starter is off. Crash bar coming down. I mean, it worked out well. I mean, there's no question. It was a good landing. I left my flaps down. But when I say it was much better than it deserved, what I mean by that is, and I wasn't really looking at the airspeed that last little bit, that last turn to final when I kind of overshot, which I should have expected because I had a tailwind. I just pulled the power completely and just tried to hold the nose up enough so I didn't wind up on the beach. And fortunately, I had enough energy to make the runway without stalling. And again, I don't know whether that was as much luck as it was skill, or as much skill as it was luck, rather. And honestly, I didn't even touch the brakes when we hit the ground. Touchdown on center line, straight up, straight, perfectly aligned with the runway, and I just threw it into beta. I didn't even touch the brakes, and that wasn't a planned, like, I wasn't trying to be cool by doing that. I just, my mind was kind of overwhelmed with not landing on the beach, and I was just fortunate enough to throw it into beta, and it stopped easily. I mean, no problems. If I used the brakes, I really would have stopped pretty well. So I would chalk that up to beginner's luck. But it was certainly a fun thing to do. It was a lot cooler yesterday in the 152 because I think you get a much better view and you're going slower, and it just kind of, I got a lot more better appreciation of the scenery yesterday when I did this. But anyway, sim update 9 wise, again, a couple real serious pauses and one that I didn't need. You know, as you're kind of getting ready to start your approach, that was pretty irritating. But other than that, I mean, I really don't notice any performance difference between Sim Update 8 and Sim Update, or World Update 8 and Sim Update 9. So I don't know. We got somebody. Oh yeah, look at that. So overall, that was a fun experiment. Quick little trip to take. I'll watch this guy get off here. So hope you guys enjoyed that. That's Goodspeed 701. That is Tradewind Aviation, probably going to San Juan. So hope you guys are doing well, and talk to you soon.